So, okay, you see my screen, right? This is you can see my phone.
Yeah, I can
Perfect.
see
Okay,
that.
so watch this. All the user has to do is just click InstaCrypto, right? So it opens up InstaCrypto. Perfect. It doesn't ask him to log in. So the first thing that it does, so you don't need to log in. The first thing that it does is it functions as a feed, right? This first page is called a feed. So automatically at the top tells you all the live data from all of our, we call them bankers. Bankers are the crypto suppliers. It could be Coinbase, it could be Joe Schmo, but we call them the user type in our app is called a banker. It's a funny play on the word because we hate banks. That's why. So that's a joke. So it shows you all the bankers in ways that you care about. So it says at the top here, it'll say buy 4 cryptocurrencies.
Okay.
Yeah, here. It'll say buy 4 cryptocurrencies, which means that right now there is 4 cryptocurrencies that are supported by all of our bankers. As soon as one banker adds another one, that's now 5. Like it just shows the totality. You know how Google will say 3,000 stores or 3,000 restaurants available in that's what that's showing. So we only have, because we just opened this up. We haven't released it. So there's 4 cryptos, but that number will be like the highest because the only reason, like think about Coinbase only has, I don't know how many cryptos they have now, but let's just say they have 20. Binance might have Binance might have like 400 or 500, whatever it is. But the reason they don't have all of them is because their customer base doesn't ask them. Like, I know Coinbase is like always trying to be a little bit more pristine, but at the end of the day, if there was $100 billion ready to go into Shorupan coin, Coinbase would have it. Coinbase would have it, right? So it's really just a matter of their customers demanding it. And so, but like I said, every company has different customers that are demanding different things. Of course, the main coins are supported everywhere. But if you have an aggregator, like no one company will be able to support all coins because it doesn't even make sense to do that because some coins will never be used on your platform. But if you're an aggregator, now you can let people access all of the coins supported by all of the platforms. You don't need Binance to add a coin for it to be accessible through InstaCrypto. If another banker adds it, it's accessible, and all of Binance's coins. So for example, so it'll show 4 cryptos using 19 payment methods. So it's already showing you, and that number is not accurate. I'm just showing you the way that it functions, right? Because once we release it, we reset it, and then everybody fills in their data, and it starts to grow. So it'll show you how many payment methods are currently available and in how many countries. And then this is the crazy part. This is the part that I think is like mind-boggling. And it's like, I'm not just saying that because obviously I'm biased, which I am, but it's I'm saying that because I'm looking at it from a Shorupan who's lost more time and money buying crypto than, I don't know, nobody has lost more time and money. I'm not talking about as a business. I'm talking about myself, like going through this shit. You know what I mean? So I'm simply saying like, yo, if there wasn't InstaCrypto, I probably wouldn't have started Global Exchange because they had already figured this out. So, So the way that it works is everything navigates at this bottom part right here. Okay. It says there's crypto. So this shows you all the crypto. Sorry, this shows you all the crypto that's available. Right now there's 4. It'll show you all the fiat currencies that you can pay with from the bankers that are there. It'll show you all the payment methods supported by all the bankers: Cash, PayPal, PhonePay, Skrill, UnionPay, e-transfer, wire transfer. Like these are all payment methods, right? None of these payment methods have signed up with us. They're the ones that are used by our vendors. See my point, right? So if Google is saying, hey, this is the best shawarma store in New Jersey, and when you go there, make sure you bring cash because they only take cash. Or when you go there, make sure it's no Amex allowed or whatever, right? Like that's what we're showing here is that all of these payment methods are available through someone. We'll help you find that someone. And then bankers are the list of bankers that are on the platform. Again, this is just dummy data, but this will show all of them. Now, like Coinbase, Cash App, whoever's selling crypto, what does it matter to them? We're driving traffic. Do you get my point? It's good for them. Like so, then if you look at it, like I've obviously tampered with Global Exchange. So Global Exchange, it shows, and then it shows how much payment methods that banker is accepting. right?
Okay, I see.
Right?
Yeah.
And then there's this concept called tellers. I'll explain that. That's a different story for another day. But yes, so those are the 4 things. And then you can search crypto. Like you want to search, if you want to find a coin, like you want to find Ethereum, you can search Ethereum and see if it's available. Obviously, when there's only 4, you don't need to search it, but you get my point. And then you can search fiat currencies to see if the fiat currency that you want to pay with is available. Let's say you want to pay with Japanese yen, JPY, then it'll search for that, right? It'll be like, it'll see if that's accessible or available. Right now, there's no JPY, but that's my point. Then you can search payment methods. Hey, I only want to buy, my number 1 concern is that I buy crypto with Skrill. So then you just you go to that first. You don't waste your time going through things that it's not applicable to you. You get my point?
Right.
And same thing with bankers. I want to only buy crypto from Coinbase. Okay, no problem. So that's actually never happens, by the way. Nobody ever says that. Like even with the biggest company, when you're trying to pump gas for your car, you don't care really which company is selling you the gas. Right? The most important thing you care about is how far is the gas station, right? That's the number 1 concern. And the number 2 concern may be like price and shit like that. Finally, after all the real concerns of them, you might be like, well, I have a coin, I have a Exxon points card, so might as well stop at an Exxon as opposed to, next gas station.
As opposed, that's true.
That's a very remedial concern, right?
Absolutely.
So nobody ever says, I'm only going to ever buy Bitcoin from Global Exchange or Coinbase. Nobody cares that much. The real thing they only care about is buying Bitcoin. So the asset is the primary driver. Do you get my point?
Right.
So
I see what
now think about this. You can select the country. So let's say you look at all the countries that our banker support. So let's say you're in the United States. Now, once you click that, it only shows you options for the United States. So in the United States, like it says, and if it's none, it's none. So in the United States, there are only 2 payment methods that any given banker will accept. And how many bankers operate there? 2, and it shows you. Like,
global.
You get my point? And then you can search just in the United States. You can search payment, like everything is done quantitatively to get you quick to where you want to go. Now, let me actually show you the process because it's glorious. Again, most people are not even going to use this page to the maximal effect because this page is like the filtering page in Google Maps. Nobody uses that. Nobody, you use it only when you're forced to use it, but really you wish that Google somehow magically gets that shit to you without you even having to type in that you're allergic to shawarmas or whatever, right? That's how much that's honestly how much you expect of them, which is insane, right? But it is what it is. So we know that. And so you don't even have to do everything I said. It's only if you want to, you can query here, but the search engine's built like that. Let's say you're the average Joe. You download InstaCrypto because someone told you to. Now you say Bitcoin. So the only thing you care about is obviously Bitcoin. So you click Bitcoin. It automatically opens up the asset page for Bitcoin. And then it says buy, sell, fund, and trade. So which one of the 3 are you trying to do? Okay, the user's like, I'm trying to buy because I don't have shit Bitcoin to sell. So you click buy. And now it gets you to the point. Now this is where what I'm saying is you're doing everything without thinking. It's saying, all right, what country are you trying to buy from? Okay, United States. It then says, okay, these are the only available currencies to buy within the United States. Click it. Does that work for you? Like it gets you, it goes to payment results. Okay, what payment method? ACH, perfect, done. Select bankers. Okay, or whatever, Coinbase, done. And then it gets you to a quote. And then and then you're pulling in the quote and transaction's done.
Okay. Confirm
now,
code.
The next step, see what it did? It connected, it went through your line of logic. It said, you're in the US, okay, what coin, how do you want to pay? Do you want to pay in USD? Okay, perfect. How do you want to get payment method? Credit card, done. Coinbase, done. Quote, good. Now, the next step is where we're very valuable to the seller. Until now, it's all about the guy buying. It's the user. It's the end user. This right now, what I showed you is the capacity. It's the same thing for selling crypto and funding an account with somebody. That everything I showed you right now is the most important idea, in my opinion, in crypto for users, guys that are just looking for information. But all of that needs to be accompanied with a growing amount of people selling. We call them bankers. So the list of bankers have to grow, right? Just like Uber is a crazy idea, it's an amazing idea. And just from a rider's perspective, Uber is fucking life-changing, right? Like what people did before Uber, I have no idea. That's funny because I was actually like doing everything before Uber as well, because I'm not that young, but like but I just don't remember. I cringe when I think I drove somewhere. Like, you know what I mean? Like
that's true.
I'm a little different because I don't live in one place and stuff like that, but I just wonder, like, man, like, how do you not, if I didn't have Uber, I couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
But Uber's driving app, which is what, I mean, Uber's riding app, which is what we all use and we all love, is crazy. It's unbelievable. It connects you to people. It's unbelievable what it does. It's insane. But it would be not effective without a lot of drivers. And so Uber had to build and how do you get drivers? Well, first you present them an economic opportunity, which, like, guys, do you want to make money for driving a car? That's what Uber first said, and that's a good pitch. That's going to get you your first X amount of drivers, even if that's it. Even if that's it, it's going to get you your first X amount of drivers. So in the crypto, it's the same thing. It's like everybody who's selling crypto, or whoever wants to sell crypto or want to build a business selling crypto, you're already selling millions of dollars of crypto.
Right.
Do you want more? Do you want more customers? Do you want more? Do you want to sell more? Okay, good. That's the first pitch. That is going to get X amount of bankers started just because. And of course, let me be clear, it's always going to start ground up. It's going to get the smaller bankers first, right? Because Coinbase doesn't need us to advertise for them. Not yet.
Right.
Not yet. Not yet, right? Just like, does McDonald's need to be on Google Maps? Not really, because they're a big brand. But now, yes. I would say now, yes. When Google Maps first came out, I don't know, probably never tried to build Google Maps, probably was like 2006 and a half. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. When Google Maps first came out, McDonald's probably laughed and said, ha, 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 ha. Like, this is for small restaurants that nobody knows who they are. So I guess that's cool technology, like, good for you guys. But we're McDonald's and we have like a location on every person's street and they already know us. And today, fam, I ain't finding no McDonald's without Google Maps. When I need to find a McDonald's, I'm doing it with Google Maps. I don't know where no McDonald's are. So even McDonald's acknowledges that, and they're probably very appreciative of the fact that Google Maps is doing all this advertising for them. Similar way with us, we're obviously going to start with everybody who wants to sell crypto, every small company, big company, and rank our way up. And it's free. So from Coinbase, so it's not that Coinbase will have anything against it. It's just you need to get up to a certain level of traction, obviously, before you can deal with those people. But there's no negative for Coinbase to come on board. It's just a matter of getting their attention. And I don't really care about Coinbase right now because I know the bigger market is getting the local people, like the local companies, the companies that are really jurisdictional. Like, my goal is to onboard every company that sells crypto in every city, and that's it. Like, they only sell crypto Bitcoin in Austin, and they only sell Bitcoin in Vancouver, because the customer experience that those guys provide to the very small amount of people that they can actually service is better than Coinbase in that specific example. You get my point? And so getting all of those people is going to provide you with the most leverage. Getting one big company like Google Maps, getting McDonald's is like that sounds like a big deal, but it's not, because it's really the valuable is not helping people find McDonald's, it's helping people find the restaurant they would have never found. And now that restaurant is obviously way more committed to making sure this customer has a good experience than McDonald's is, by virtue of that, right? And so that right there, I've showed you until now, which is the user side. And obviously the user's thrilled. But you know what the great thing about this is that I think once we release this, like, nobody's ever gonna like actually appreciate it, because like they don't know what we went, they don't know what people before InstaCrypto went through. Like, they don't know getting scammed and like meeting alleyways and like signing up for 19 exchanges. They don't know about that. They won't, because this just fundamentally breaks that, right? So it's just like how we laugh at people that say they call someone before meeting with them or something like that. Like, you're gonna check if the restaurant's open. Like, all of those things are laughable now because we never needed to do them. But very clearly people remember those things that lived there. And I think that the people that sign up from the post InstaCrypto era will laugh at us. They'll be like, "Oh, you guys are the clowns that like signed up for exchanges that couldn't service with you," and like it was just a funny experience for them, right? From the other person's side, the banker side, this is the beginning, like that right there. So think about it now. What we're talking about, like we're talking about small to all the way to the medium to large exchanges. Now, The largest exchanges, like there's a difference between being a large exchange and being the largest exchange, right? It's like the difference between being rich and being a billionaire. There's a difference, right? It's a vast difference, right? But most, if you're poor, you won't know that difference. You won't know. You'll just think that, oh, it's a big company, it's a big company. No, there's a difference, right? So there's, when I say large exchanges, I'm excluding the top 10 because those are not large exchanges. Those are the largest, the best, the biggest. Like those are, they have luxuries that even number 12 doesn't have, just by virtue. Like, you get my point? It's not exactly a 10 or anything like that, but I'm just saying we know who we're talking about when we're talking about the number, the people that, the exchanges that are so well established. But just because you're a big exchange doesn't mean you're that. That comes with regulation. It comes with institutions backing you. It comes with a lot of the stuff that we talked about before. You could be a very big supplier of Bitcoin and people not take you seriously. They're still just using it. But Coinbase might have a low day selling some Bitcoin. It doesn't matter. They're still Coinbase. Like they're still it's very powerful. So with that being said, our customer, our partner base, our banker base is everybody from my grandmother who may want to start an OTC store all the way to a large exchange. They're just not Coinbase yet. They're not institutionalized. That's what I mean. That's the distinction. So it has nothing to do with how much Bitcoin you're capable of selling, how many customers you have. It has to do with, are you institutionalized yet? Okay. Yeah. So if you're institutionalized, we're not going after you right now. You can sign up for the platform. It's free. It's great. But like, we're not going after you. You're good. You're good. Yeah. Everybody who's not institutionalized, we're driving sales for them. We're driving leads, so they're happy. That in and of itself is just like telling the Uber driver, like, hey, you just make money. Like, I'm sure you want to do it, right? But then there's the additional step that you need to provide, making it easy and making it compelling for people to then drive Ubers, even if they had the economic incentive to do so. And how do you do that? Well, Uber did that over the last 10 years, like not 10 years, like 7 years, by building a driver app, building convenience for the drivers. Exactly. Like, there's a whole driver business for Uber that we obviously are not aware of because we're not drivers. But if you're a driver, like it's big, huge, I would imagine. You go through a whole different experience. At least 35% of Uber's investment is probably in catering to their drivers, just from an expenses perspective, right? So like even for technology and all of that. So with that being said, we're doing the same thing for our partner, our bankers. So that's what I'm starting now. Like it's a co-release. There's an app that we have. It's called Banker, and we also own Banker.app. Okay. Yeah, it's a pretty fucking crazy brand domain there. So that's awesome, bro. Like So with that and that, if you go to Banker.app, if you download the Banker app, we're probably like a week or two away from finishing and releasing that. But essentially what you do there is you manage your OTC business. Okay. You see, like you get the two different things, right? In the Banker mobile app or in the web app, what you'll be able to do is deposit whatever you're trying to sell. Like, let's say you're trying to sell Bitcoin, you deposit your crypto into your Banker wallet, and then you allocate it you set up your payment methods. This is the big thing. You set up a payment method, a payment path for every possible customer you have. So what that means is, all right, I want to sell Bitcoin, that automatically already filters that banker. He's only going to appear in the Bitcoin's list, right? He's not going to appear in the Ether list. But if you sell Ether, you'll also add a payment path for Ether. Then what countries do you service? What payment paths do you accept? What blah, blah, blah. And immediately you're creating the ability, our algorithm is creating the function that will later then allow the user to find you. Now, you've stored your crypto in the engine, very much like, funny enough, like Amazon, like automated sales, and like Shopify automated sales is very much like this, is that you get your inventory, whether you're storing it somewhere or you're storing it in your house, you get your inventory together. That's obviously your crypto in this case. And then you set up your pipelines, which we organize in the Banker app. So where do you sell crypto? What's your payment method? What's your customer base? What's your KYC? We organize all of that for them. And then we connect. So this is the final element, which I think is the most important. And this is like, nobody again will care, is wait, how do they transact with each other? Well, if the payment method is instant, payment methods would be credit card, what's the Zelle, like those type of things.
Yeah.
If you're a banker and you're accepting one of those, then all the user has to do is, like, let's say Bitcoin, buy Canada, continue, Indian rupees, payment method, wire transfer. One second. So do Indian USD, payment method, Google Pay. Tellers available, global exchange. Okay, so I get to the banker, I get to the checkout, right? And I say, okay, I want to buy $500, not that much. Let's say $50. Or I want to buy one Bitcoin or whatever. Oh shit, sorry, I messed up the calculations. So say I want to buy $50, right?
Okay.
And immediately what it does is it gets me the quote, which is 0.0032 I'm going to get from this banker at this payment method. Do you understand that that's important? That includes all the fees. So for example, a banker that's accepting PayPal can set, hey, for my PayPal transactions, charge a X% fee because it's more fees. But if they're doing wire, like all of that's manageable. So this is a dynamic quote created at the time knowing all of this from the banker side. And then the customer says, oh shit, sorry. The customer says, cool, confirm quote. And what he does is if he has then done, trade is done. So now I've paid my new dollar balance, because I paid in dollars, is $1.26, and my new Bitcoin balance as the customer is 1.18, and the banker lost Bitcoin because he just sold it to me and he got USD.
Right. Okay.
Now, that's only if the payment methods are instant. If the payment methods, and most payment methods are not instant, they're like, you have to fund the money and then trade. So we built an and that by far is the most complicated fund, because it's mad complicated. Even when we do it's complicated. There's no quick way of doing that. So we built we've taken that pain that so many people experience, but nobody thinks is a problem, and we made it into this third option right here, which is fund and trade. And fund and trade is like, the banker gets to create the steps of what the user has to do after the user agrees to the price. So, first we patch you up with the banker. So now you know you're working with someone that you can actually work with. And then the banker is already predefined, all right, if he's funding and trading and he's in the United States and this is the payment path, perfect. These are the steps. I'll show you. So countries like USD, let's see if this works. US always comes back. Yeah, perfect. Okay. Cool. Coin.
One
Ether. Okay. Do you see? So what happened here is it's first breaking down the fee structure for the fund, and then it says, do you see where it says see steps?
Yeah, sure.
Right. So you click see steps, and here it shows all the steps that the user has to do. So if you think about like a wire transfer, the first step is initiate the fund on your app. The second one would say, go into the bank. This is the wire transfer information. It shows everything, and the customer can track it.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
And so this is wild for the customer, but you know what's really wild for? The banker, because the banker doesn't need to worry about building or managing this. Boss, you're functioning even without this like a banker. You're functioning like a banker right now. You know what you're doing? You're doing that entire page. You're just doing it manually. You're doing it in your head. You're doing it in your head or WhatsApp, and you're telling, okay, we'll do this first, and then wait, don't worry, you can do this next. Okay, you did this perfect. Let me call Shorupan. Let me make sure. That's what you're doing. Do you get my point?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You're one guy, and you're trying to build your business. Even I know people that are companies that are selling hundreds of Bitcoins, they're still doing it manually because even Coinbase hasn't done that level of like tracking. Because why? Because Coinbase is only concerned with one jurisdiction, a very limited payment methods. But we know because we're serving so many bankers that the payment methods for doing a Zelle versus doing a wire, versus doing cash in Australia is all very different, and the
Right.
bankers are able to define that. So it's very much now the tracking, monitor, and then of course you have some of the things I didn't show you. That's just the search engine page. I mean, there is obviously the wallets and everything like that, because all of the wallets for the bankers and users are built into left-hand side. You go wallet.
Oh, nice.
All of the wallets,
awesome.
buy, send, transact. I mean, it's pretty.
It shows you a transaction, deposit, withdrawal. Oh man.
No, not just that. Like, so this is your Bitcoin. You can obviously deposit. You can deposit with the vault, which is global exchange. You can deposit with Bitcoin, or you can go to the feed and buy Bitcoin. It'll get deposited like that. You can withdraw. Okay. And it's just, I call it the greatest crypto app ever built. And I'm saying that because I never wanted to build this. Like, I'll tell you honestly, like, from the time we started, like, everybody was just like, oh, can you just make it simpler? Like, it's too complicated. Can you make it simpler? They're always, they try to ask that about the process. I said, first of all, we don't control the process. There's like many players involved that you may not, they're not good listeners. That's what I always used to say. The banks aren't good listeners per se. So the process can't be simplified any more than anybody else can simplify the process. But then they would say, well, can you simplify the website and app and blah, blah, blah. And I said, I hated that conversation, because it's like, yo, I'm trying to do something here. Like, I'm trying to do something much bigger than sell you Bitcoin conveniently in New Jersey. Like, if you wanted to do that, go on Cash App. Like, that was always kind of my mentality. Like, I'm trying to solve some problems here. But so everybody would say, build this up. And I'm like, oh God. But finally I said, fuck it. You want simple? I will make it so simple that you'll never wish you asked for simple again. I was being petty, but so this app was built like from scratch. When I built it, was like, yo, I'm going to include in here. I'm going to include in here everything that I know the dumbest customer wants. The guy that doesn't want to think about anything. Obviously, that's what even the whole finding of the people were. But even look at this, like if you click a transaction, right? Like, let's say this is a withdrawal I did, right? Bitcoin, so you click it. So I've created this thing called a transaction audit. No wallet in the world does this. I don't know why. It's not rocket science. I don't know why they don't do it. It's actually not rocket science. So it's basically like an immediate audit, like an accounting audit of that transaction. Somewhat like a blockchain hash, but a blockchain hash is only auditing what is transpiring on the blockchain. This audits the entire transaction. So you have the transaction, you have the transaction name, you have the transaction type, what currency it came from, what currency it went to, earning meter, fee meter, and you, like, for example, let's say you wanted to see more info about this. You click more info, or you click it, sorry. Yes, and then it tells you where the from came from. So the from amount, this is the banker, this is the value of the crypto at the time that you got as the value today. You can do an immediate share, you can download, and you can even dispute the transaction. And if you dispute it, it opens up the chat window with the support team in the app. So the app has all of the, if you go to, we haven't gone to the support.
Man,
people have always talked about, I've always said shit like, global exchange is the best support. People are like, well, you guys don't respond. I'd be like, you know why you know that? Because we actually respond. You're so used to people never responding that when we respond in 6 hours, it seems like a long time. Like that's you know what I mean? So it's like, so obviously I can't be that petty or aggressive directly to a customer who's angry, but that's what I want to say. I'll be like, you think this is a long time, eh? Well, why don't you go try somewhere else and see how long you don't get a response for it? And of course, if their first exposure of crypto was global exchange, they'll never get what you said. They'll never get it. They'll never understand what it's like to email Coinbase and get a response 2.5 weeks later. They won't even believe that's a thing. They won't even believe that that's a thing. Even if you told them, they'll think that you're lying. They won't even believe that no other company does WhatsApp support, or that because that's all they know, because we ruined it by making it like now we're about to ruin it again, because this takes all of our radical ideas. So this support engine has on hold, which is telephone support.
That's awesome, bro. That's legit.
It has the chat software with your support team in it.
Oh wow!
It has all tickets.
You got your own.
Everything.
That is amazing.
Tickets and learn section where you can learn, like, and it's not just for us; it's for the bankers. Like, you have to think about
that
it.
is
like
it's simplified to the core, bro.
It's taking the luxuries of local Bitcoin, and what we love about local Bitcoin is its options. It's the fact that although it's not pretty, although it's sketchy, although it's not a great customer experience, I have options. Like I don't feel that as soon as I get one local Bitcoin guy that doesn't want to work with me, I never have any options again. Because as soon as you have a Coinbase account, they shut you down. You actually feel like that. You're like, oh, I'm fucked. Like, I have, so that, but that's not many people will ever sacrifice convenience for that. That's why Coinbase is very popular compared to a little
bro. So this pretty much, this app is like a secondary vault, like how we have when you log into the back office.
This is a GX powered app, so all your vaults is imported into here too.
So pretty much when you withdraw from inside this app, right, it goes to any wallet that you want to send it to. That's how it works.
This everything that is in the global exchange. This is just a sub app of global exchange. So so you click withdraw and you click Bitcoin. Like you just enter Not only can you withdraw, it is the best withdrawal function I've seen. I'm gonna because I'm petty. I want to make it so that it's like, yo, I dare someone. Let's do comparison. Let's do it. Let's see how it functions. I mean, it's crazy, man. I mean, it's honestly something we're very proud of it.
It's awesome, bro. It's awesome. I think this is gonna be the next. It's gonna make it as simple as possible for anybody. All in one. I think this is what people are. If they were asking for that.
Everybody always wants. I think Jeff Bezos is always says, like, you know what people want? Everything.
So that's so true. That's so true.
There's nothing to say about that. Like if you're the guy, if you're Amazon, and they're not happy. They're not happy that you made it so that you can get soap in one day. Look how crazy that is, right? Like they're not happy about that. You need more now. Like so.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely, I agree. But the cool thing is that what I could do is if I'm using this, what I could do is select the GX. If I'm using the global, the option, I go create the ticket for the wire, go initiate the wire, then come back, and then just keep an eye out on the app for the update, or the status. That's it.
That you're now you've examined what I've said through the lens. That exactly what you said is that's a narrow examination of what a user of one of the bankers will find valuable about this. So let's say you're already using GX, right? And let's say you don't know that we built InstaCrypto, but we obviously tell everybody. But let's say you don't know. Let's say you're already using GX, just like you've used GX before, and you're you're happy with it, but you always wish it could be better and faster. Everybody's always wishing that. Okay, cool. Then someone else tells you, yo, you can actually manage your transaction with GX through this other app called InstaCrypto, or you can also manage your Coinbase transaction, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, oh, that's crazy. Like, what can I do? Like, perfect, I'll download it. And then you see that GX is already listed on it, as well as other platforms. And you're like, oh, so the same process I'm already doing with GX, because I'm already a GX customer, I can now just do everything simpler through here. That's very similar to like how you could technically buy things from like it's Uber Eats, right? Like Uber Eats didn't invent restaurants. They just made it easier to access restaurants, right? So that they built the entire transportation medium for that. So that's what you just said is what all of our customers are going to say who already use Global Exchange and they just care about getting bigger. They're like, oh, great. Now I can use this. And it's a simpler way for me to use Global Exchange. But what I'm trying to get across to you is the vast majority of people don't know about Global Exchange, and the bigger vast majority don't even know that they want crypto. So
right, exactly.
Like, I mean, obviously what you said right now is an immediate benefit to our existing customers, and that's great. But now you gotta think like, wait a minute. Like, I could technically, this is the instrument for not just managing global exchange transactions, but managing transactions with any banker, which, by the way, one thing the reason I wanted to say that, the reason I wanted to say that you're right is because at the beginning, the first one will be global exchange. So like, you're correct, right? Because we're obviously just going to be the first one, and then we'll add, and hopefully one day Coinbase. So you're correct about that. But I want to also elucidate the fact that even once there's only 2 bankers, or 3, 4, 5, 6, you know that things compounds quickly. But once there's more than global exchange, now it's like, wait a minute. What about all those customers? Can they use this too? Like, you know what I mean? Like you just said, can Coinbase customers use it? So now it's the existing customer base for InstaCrypto is everybody who buys crypto from anybody. So that's one thing to think about, right? Yeah, because they're already buying it from somebody, and now they can buy it from, even if they love that company so much, because it's the greatest company in the world, it's still great. They can now just manage it simpler. the exact same process with the same person. But 99% of people, even global exchange customers, don't love the company that much. That's the only option. Now you're giving them the ability to manage it with the company they know, but also every other company that's possibly able to sell to them. From a user's perspective, it's dynamic. And I think also, I think it was CZ, founder of Binance, said that CoinMarketCap is the landing page of crypto. That's a crazy line. That's a crazy line. I'm like, that's wild, man. That's true. That's real shit, real shit. It is like, CoinMarketCap is the place where you go to feel like you're understanding something about crypto. As weird as I know that's a weird sentence, I was thinking there's not a simpler way to put what I just said. It's not the place you go when you're already buying crypto. It's not the place you go to. It's not the place you go to buy crypto. It's not the place you go to even find people to buy crypto. It's not the place you go to do really anything. It's only the place you go to learn. That's not even to learn, to interact with the most amount of crypto related shit, right? So it's very generic, and that's the value of it. Like, when you go to CoinMarketCap, you're not going to the best futures exchange for Bitcoin. You're going to a place where you can see all exchanges, and they're just visual. They're just data. This is this is an engine. This is built This is built for utility. It's not so my goal is, if CoinMarketCap is the landing page for crypto, okay, perfect. I want this to be in the States, you still call it foyers, like when you walk into an office, like what is that place called? Like this is the receptionist area for crypto, for the entire crypto market. Because when you get into a receptionist area, you're like, okay, perfect. I'm at the right place. At least I'm not lost. I've made it to crypto land. That's what I want people to say. Like, I've made it to crypto land. I'm not in some Timbuktu place. Okay. What the hell do I do? You don't fucking know when you get to, all these big goals. When I was in New York, I always go to this big goal. I'm like, shit, people tell me to come for a meeting. It's like, man, there's like 750 million followers. Like, where do I go? They tell me where to go. And of course, he's like, don't worry, the receptionist will do that. And later on in life, I figured out that's how it always goes down. So I go to the receptionist, like, I'm here to see Joe. And like, she'll be like, all right, cool, send me, like, let me call. And then she's like, go right, left, upstairs, this way, blah, 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 blah. And she's directing me. And that right there is two things happening at once. You get the feeling that you're in the right place. So you feel that your job of getting here is done.
Right.
Now it's the person who you're trying to interact with is using this reception technology, it's really a human, to get the final edge. So our goal is to get as many people into the InstaCrypto, because that's the reception area. That's just, if you have been interested in engaging with crypto at all, in any way, in any country possible, get to the reception, download the app. Once you're here, the app will tell you where your meeting is. Yeah. That is the end goal. I can see
it being a big success, because the fact that you make it so simplified for everybody. Once you get to the app, and you just from there just following simple instructions.
You're following simple instructions, right?
Exactly.
The people that don't know anything about crypto, this is the most This is the
most simplified that you can break it down.
Think about it like that, right? It's like, but you're saying the correct thing, but you're saying it from the perspective of someone that knows about crypto. Like, for someone that knows about crypto, knows about crypto or has transacted in with crypto, this is like the equivalent of discovering like a gun when you've been using like a rock for the last, you're like, whoa. I can now use this semi-automatic weapon, and that's my, like, look how simple this is compared to trying to kill someone with a gun. I mean, compare someone with kill a rock. But to the person that doesn't know about crypto yet, and they find out about this is actually, in my opinion, the most complicated they're willing to use. That's a very important word. And the reason they're not in crypto right now is because 100% of the options are above the threshold that they're willing to use. Now, inside of that threshold, in my opinion, is Spotify, is YouTube, is this big social network. So like all Facebook social networks, Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, Snapchat, the big social networks, Amazon, obviously Google being a kind of underbelly for it. And that's about it. Maybe some games could fall into there. But those are the apps that fall into the threshold of, I don't have to think when I use them. They've taught me how to think, right?
Right.
There's nothing in crypto that falls into that threshold in terms of just usability, or forget about usability, because some crypto apps are designed really cool. Functional. They're not solving the right problems. Being able to read third-degree trading charts on your phone is just a cool accomplishment, but not really that functional to most people, because the majority of people are hungry. They want the restaurant in their jurisdiction. They're not interested that there's a restaurant in Thailand that cooks 19 flavors of shrimp or whatever it is, right? And so I always think that crypto apps, they also aim for simplicity, and some of them have sick developers that do it, but it's like, yo, they're solving the wrong problem. They're like solving, they're like aiming in the wrong direction. They believe that if they make their systems more advanced, even if it's presented simply, and that it's easy for people to use them, that's the solution. That's good. That's why they're bankers. They're actually going to end up being bankers. Those people. That's great for them. So with that being said, I really appreciate you listening, because again, it wasn't my intention to take this long. I really didn't have this much time. I know you're busy too, boss. But,
you're
I kind of started ranting because I needed to make this video. I actually needed to make this video for YouTube. Like, I was planning on doing it, but now that you're asking the right questions, I wanted to let me just use this as an opportunity. That's why I did this feature. But now you've also got the first glance, everything. With that being said, and obviously I'm chopping, I'll send everything to you before everything, but I'm, now we can get into the thing. I think that, so let me be very clear right now. So from this point on in this conversation or any future conversation, it's important for us to say, what are we talking about? Are we talking about the global exchange business as global exchange? Are we talking about global exchange business being a banker? Because global exchange is a banker, one of the bankers. Or are we talking about InstaCrypto, which is not an OTC provider, but more of this, what we've explained. So the global exchanges business that you know is continuing. It's just going to be one of the providers on InstaCrypto, and it's going to be wire transfer and everything. So
sure.
I wanted to speak on that front, but I think that this gives you some color as to why I'm a little bit overconfident.